Today I'm going to show you how to plant bare root hazel trees. We want to increase the size of this, our hazel coppice. We planted these trees about 3 years ago, and as you can see they're getting some reasonable height. I showed you our willow coppice in a previous video, link below if you want to have a look at it. The idea behind growing hazel trees is for hazelnuts if we're lucky, but also because they make good poles for beam structures, or if I'm feeling particularly industrious, you might have a go at making some willow hurdles. I had thought it was a good idea to use willow for bean poles, but then my wife pointed out that they'll root and grow and they will have little pyramid shaped willow structures all in the garden. That's not good. So let's get all our supplies together and I'll show you how this is done. Right, a really important part of planting new trees is mulch. Now we have some mulch here. It's wood chip. It's actually ash. We had a few large ash trees that had ash dieback disease, and so we had them monolith. I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. We had all the branches then chipped for this sort of a purpose. Now the reason you want to mulch trees is for two reasons. One, to keep the moisture in the soil so it doesn't all evaporate, and also to keep the weeds down. If you have a lot of weed competition, your new trees will struggle or fail altogether, which you just don't want. So we're going to get a load of this in the wheelbarrow and take it over to our planting area. Ow! There's a log there. Right, I've noticed a couple of things. Oh, there we go, there it is. This is a little baby sycamore tree. That's a sycamore tree right above me, and all of its seeds have landed on the compost, or the wood chip. They're beginning to germinate. Also, we have a large horse chestnut tree over there. If you look, you can see right here, it's also beginning to germinate. So I think I might go and stick both of these in some compost and let them grow. Right, I mentioned earlier we have some trees with ash dieback disease. Here they are. These are two large ash trees. They've got to be well over 100 years old, perhaps more, and it's really sad to see that they're ill. The thinking is, though, that if you take all the branches off, they live longer. The reason being, the disease gets in through the leaves. It then travels down the branches and gets into the main trunk. So if you take all those branches off, you remove a lot of the disease burden on the tree. So hopefully this monolithing, which is what it's called, will enable them to carry on living. So you can see they're already growing really well. We had this done about a year ago, and there's at least a meter, maybe more, of new growth on the trees already. So hopefully they'll, keep going for decades to come. I'll keep you posted. Right, we're going to plant about a dozen trees. We've got a load of mulch. I think we'll need several wheelbarrows full of mulch. Big measuring tape and a measuring stick. I'll show you how we're going to use these in a moment to follow this sinuous path. We call this our promenade. We have hazels on that side already, so now we need to plant hazels on this side, so hopefully we'll have a tree-lined avenue down the garden. Right, we're planting these hazel trees 2 meters apart, so we cut this stick to be the right length. We then need to follow the path of the other trees going down the promenade. They're about 7.6 meters apart. Well, actually 6.6. We managed to break the last meter off of our tape measure, so we measured at 7.6. And so by doing that, we can then go in parallel down the promenade and get all the trees in the right place. So we'll make it look beautiful. This is a bare rooted hazel tree. You can see the hazelnut seed case just there. It's 60 centimeters-ish tall and a year or two old. I think it's incredible that they can grow this at a tree nursery, pull it out of the ground, wash the soil off, package it up, ship it to somebody else. We've stored it for a week or two now, and then we can put it in the ground and it will grow quite happily. They wash the soil off at the tree nursery so they get to keep the soil to continue growing new trees in. So we need to get it in the ground right about here where my tape measure was. Now, the way you plant bare rooted trees, you don't need to dig a big hole. You just need to cut a slit into the soil with the spade, which needs to go just there. Once the spade goes in, you then just rock it back and forth, and it makes this sort of slit open. It's also done as slit planting. And put the tree in, then put the spade next to the hole you made, and push it towards the tree. That will then compress the soil against the roots so that it will have enough moisture, enough soil, and take off. Hazel, I have to talk now. I'm being filmed. I can't stroke you all the time. Now we're fortunate that our soil doesn't have many rocks in it, so the spade goes in easy enough. So like I said, if you rock the spade back and forth like that, and I've learned a new trick as well, pull the spade out and reverse it. Because the spade has a curve on it, you can make the hole a little bit wider by reversing it. And there we go. So you take the little tree, get its roots in the soil, just like so, and putting it up against one edge so it can be firmed in position. Then take the spade, put it back in the ground, and compress the soil against the tree. And that should grow beautifully. Now I need some mulch. This mulch is about 5 or 6 centimeters deep. That should be plenty to keep the weeds suppressed and keep the moisture retained. When we come out and cut the promenade, we'll have all those grass clippings as well, so we'll add those around them. Thank you for helping me, Hazel. Plant a hazel. If you enjoyed all that, do click subscribe. That'd be fantastic, and come back for some more.